Shut up. Anyways, the game freaking broke. It froze on me, which was stupid as hell. Let's just get to my mission. So, I don't know, I didn't know how to, name this video, but we are going over a lot of the— oh my goodness, I'm already being attacked by a bunch of things. What the hell is it? It's trolls. Who is this guy? It's a thug! He's helping me for some reason. There's a hired thug that was meant to come after me. And he's helping because... now there's a bear! Looks like I got a new companion. Where are they going after now? Alright, you. You're just gonna scout around. No, there's still bad guys over here. There's still bad guys over here. Oh, I got a message even though it doesn't even show a viewer. Hold on, I'll get to you in a sec. What is going on? Okay, now he's going to approach me, and he's going to say I was hired to kill you and crap like that. Hello? Okay, there we go. Alright, everyone kill him. Oh my gosh, that was silly. Alright, let me look at this comment. Stupid hired thug. Where's his body? Oh, there he is. Give me your— stop pushing me, you stupid werewolves! Hold on, I'm trying to get to his body, and I'm trying to look at the comment at the same time, and you guys are being a bunch of jerks. Look how many goddamn people I have following me, jeez. I had to— so hopefully this video won't go weird because I had the previous live stream break on me. So, because the game literally froze on me. I was talking about this subject that the video is named after, of course. Oh, sadly I lost a subscriber. That sucks. I always feel sad whenever that happens. Jeez, this game. I want to talk about some of the stuff. I'm probably going to use some of the older Fallouts and stuff, and maybe Elder Scrolls to push to talk about my example of where these games have gone. I still really love I play Skyrim today. I play Fallout 4 still today. I've even went back and played some of the older stuff, whether it be Morrowind, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, you know, that kind of stuff. Dead channel. Oh, it's Dave. Hi, Dave. And I want to go through the different RPG elements that the games have. And I've seen you on PlayStation 4 a lot, by the way. Let me take all this guy's stuff and make him naked. And when it comes to— oh my goodness, what? Another message and viewer? Thank you. And what I'm going to use some of the older games as an example towards some of the stuff, the newer games, and I'm going to start with— oh my gosh, it's trolls. I'm going to start with the Fallout series, especially using Fallout 4. Hopefully this game isn't louder than me, thanks to a guy firing off lightning bolts in my direction. I'm behind by a few seconds, so just while you're talking, I'll fast forward just so you know I might miss a bit. Playing Avengers yesterday with some folks. Surprised how much I missed it. Actually, lol. Well, it's not a very good game. It was lost its player base quite a bit, and they should have fixed a lot of the problems they had. The game should not have come out in the order. I'm not saying it can't become good later, kind of like No Man's Sky, for example, even though No Man's Sky pisses me off. What are you doing?
Guess it's all clear now.
I have a vampire Khajiit, by the way. But yeah, they should have. I'm not here to talk about Avengers, so maybe for another video. I am planning on downloading it though to try out the Black Panther stuff because I am somewhat interested in that, and I can't wait for Spider-Man still, even though I don't trust Square Enix and their business practices and crap. So anyways, I want to get to Bethesda and what they lost over time. I want to use Fallout 4 as an example and such. So let's just I just want to hop into this. Is that this game is just already distracting me with all sorts of stuff. That was just a regular dog that ran by. Whose dog is out on the stray? What are you doing? Who let their dog out? Who? And when it comes to the Fallout series, I want to once again bring up, oh my goodness, you're throwing a lot of messages at me. I want to bring up how the Fallout games, so you've already heard this, of course, Dave, but people who would watch this video haven't. So when it comes to Fallout 3 and New Vegas, a lot of stuff the stuff that is carried over, they kind of carried over the karma system into 4, where it'll say up in the upper left-hand corner, so-and-so, like, say, Strong or Nick Valentine, didn't like that you did that, and it'll be a different thing, like something bad, like if you steal something, or if you do something nice for someone, Strong will be like, I hate you for doing nice thing. But like it's interesting how the karma system works, and it kind of changes their dialogue a little bit in 4. I love they do expand because you get to build your own houses in different ways in both Skyrim and Fallout 4, so that is really cool. I love that you can marry characters, have children, even though they mostly adopt. And that's perfectly fine. We don't need to see The Witcher style, you know, cutscene. You know what I mean. But why am I always being attacked? Oh jeez! You blended in with the werewolves, you jerk. You look kind of like them from a distance. Cry out loud. Well, they take care of him and knock him over constantly. Are you guys going to attack, huh? Any of you? Anyways, they're just going to chase him off in the woods and fight him. And while they're fighting him, why aren't you attacking with them? What? Why are you attacking my own companion? Stop hitting him! Stop it! God damn it. Anyways, and the modding community for the Fallout games have become really good over time. So when it comes to... And then they carried over, of course, the invincible teammates from Fallout New Vegas, because in New Vegas, the teammates will survive no matter what. They will not die. Especially if you start their mission and you just get them as their companion for the mission, but you can have them follow you everywhere pretty much and never do their mission. Then the karma system really doesn't work. As well as like the karma system for like if you make a certain faction mad, like say the NCR for example, all you have to do, they'll be like, we hate so and so, but if you dress up as a different NCR character, they will like you. They will not even know who you are sometimes. It's weird. There's some pretty bad glitches in New Vegas compared to, and it's mostly because the game is basically Fallout 3, but reskinned. to an extent, that is. The dungeons are not very good in New Vegas compared to 3. There's a lot more memorable locations and dungeons in 3, I think. Even cities are more memorable. The combat, I think, has gotten better in each game as they go on. A lot of people talk about how Skyrim doesn't have very good combat. I agree to an extent, but I think that's because they might not be as experimental with the combat, because there's some crazy builds you make. Take, for example, even though you can use a glitch for it, the shout build is ridiculous. I love using the infinite shouts. That's where you turn into a werewolf while wearing and then you like quickly go into your inventory, equipped 10 Talos amulets, and then you transform back. I can't remember exactly how it goes. Wow, I never see skeevers that much out here. But you turn back and then you have like infinite shouts pretty much. And it's so cool the stuff you can do. You can freeze time and basically matrix people. You can like shoot them through the air and watch them fly through the air in slow motion, or shoot an explosive either bow, depending on if you have a modded version or not, or explosive power even, and watch them explode in slow motion, and it's so awesome. What the...
This is none of your concern, citizen.
Okay, jeez, calm down. And the worlds have definitely gotten like way more immersive. Like there's besides like the modding community, I can go back and play Skyrim and Fallout 4 without mods and still have a lot of fun. There's a lot of memorable locations in them. I still love the older Elder Scrolls and Fallouts, but damn, they've just added a lot over them. But when it comes to the RPG elements, the dialogue has been greatly reduced to... There's still... I think Skyrim is definitely way better than Fallout 4, because there's still a lot of... That's kind of hard to say, because there's still somewhat a karma system in Fallout 4. But in Skyrim, you still have different dialogue options that can affect certain things. Like, there'll be characters... take for example, there's a Thief Guild's quest where you either beat up certain people for money for the Thieves Guild that they owe, or you don't, and you just get it from them. Depending on who you beat up, those people will never like you again, and they will talk rude to you. You can still buy from them and stuff. I think they should have added it so they would be more snobby when it comes to that kind of stuff. But, their dialogue still reflects that they hate you, and I like that change. It also makes me feel bad whenever I walk up to, say, I like Talon J and the Bee and Barb, and he'll be like, "What? Piss off! After what you did to my wife, you beat the crap out of her." And I'm like, I feel bad now that this is what I have to hear from his mouth the rest of the game whenever I come here to visit and buy stuff. But yeah, I like those kind of dynamics and such, and as well as like you can choose either the Stormcloaks or Imperials, what sides you want to go on. Another thing I want to bring up is that I feel like there's a lot of movies and such nowadays. Whoa, that bear just popped out of the bushes. What the hell? And you can... And like, Elder Scrolls... My goodness. Both Elder Scrolls and Fallout have touched on like racism in their games. There's of course characters that hate the ghouls or the super mutants, and there are like friendly super mutants or nightkin or whatever, and like there are places that but they don't like you, or like in Fallout 3 there's that big fancy place that the ghouls and calls them zombies and crap. They touch on stuff that like is relevant today. I feel like they do it better and more subtly to an extent, where in other games they don't do it quite as, or other recent games and even movies, they don't do it quite as subtly. They force it in your face. And it's just like interesting, you see stuff even in Skyrim where they like, say I could refuse this guy right now if I wanted, I bet. But take for example the Khajiit are not allowed in the cities the Argonians are treated as kind of dock workers. You can even see some hate towards the Dark Elves in Windhelm.
Nothing like buying spirits.
Okay, so you can't really refuse this guy. You can ask him questions.
Cheers, my friend.
It is just a side thing, but it is it's much more direct compared to other Elder Scrolls games and such in its story. I do like the random encounter stuff. Why are you following that guy so close, and why are you both wearing the same clothes? At least you're not the same character model. But, yeah, I find the world interesting. The world's very alive, speaking of which. Get the crud out of my way. Ooh, it's getting foggy out. I love the world. I love the environments. The characters are still... I find the characters memorable in the Elder Scrolls games. 5 has memorable characters. You've got some great quests. And when it comes to other things, like take New Vegas once again, for example. New Vegas has many different directions in which the story and especially the ending can go. There's so many endings alone to that game. I think the original 2 Fallout games had way more like diverse conversations, and it's always funny as hell seeing the different interactions when you be an asshole to someone in those games. Like the stick-head guard there, the Brotherhood of Steel guy that you're like, the President of the United States of America, that's a real great one, oh. And he's like, it's like, listen up, you wise ass, you smart ass. I'm gonna come down there, and I'm gonna kill you and all your friends. I love that crap. I love how much there is to the dialogue in those games, and it's just gotten a little bit more watered down. Skyrim is definitely watered down, but here's another thing. RPG doesn't... Who said that? RPG elements aren't just about the dialogue options. There is more to an RPG than just dialogue. And that's where most people have talked about the RPG problems. Holy crap, I'm looking at a dude who took out 2 saber-toothed tigers, and those things are tough. What is with all the animals? Hello? Oh, it's this guy. Why do you wish to die?
Time has come. I am old. Too old to
but
become a chief. It would be wrong for me to take wives at this age. So I will die. Malakath has given me a vision of
you don't look too old.
I am to wait here until it finds me. As you can see, it has not yet arrived. Yes. Were I to simply lay down and
I wonder if I can
die, it
refuse
would
this
not
guy
please
too.
Malakath. Perhaps. Are you sure about this?
Okay, yeah. So you do have like different options for this. I'm going to take him out, of course, because I want his goodies. And I love the the guilds are very played out. I think each Elder Scrolls has lost its luster with stuff because it wants to be more cinematic than... Stop blocking, you asshole. Like, take for example right here, like, I can just go for this guy by doing this. And then putting him on fire. There's something weird going on with my stamina and magic system, though. You got the whole menu set up. You got the oh, wait a minute. Let's go back to my weapons. So say you have different options still for combat, whether it be melee weapons, the attack animations they have, or some sort of... I prefer the regular bow over the crossbow. Sorry. So we're gonna take that. I'm gonna put these Daedric arrows because I have like thousands of them. And you got all this menu stuff. This still feels like it counts towards, let's see. So you can be like wow, this guy hits hard. God damn. Good thing I have the Hist Skin ability. So, like, I can pelt this guy with a bow and arrow, or I can shoot flames or something at him. Wow, look at this guy. Jeez. I got magics, get some stamina. Get some strength in there. How about some vigor? Yeah, that's good. Look at this. What the hell? Oh. What the hell? Okay, that guy was no joke then. Holy crap. No wonder he wants a good death. I wasn't good enough for him. Crap. And of course your companions aren't going to help you because they're programmed to know that this is a one-on-one encounter due to the story setup of it. But at least between me and him. But yeah, I think they kind of sacrifice RPG elements, and there's also RPG element. Oh my gosh, did I seriously? I'm all the way back here. They sacrifice RPG elements for bringing in new content, like making your own house, having kids, family, that kind of stuff, or stuff like becoming more cinematic. And I still love the cinematic approach. Skyrim is like the Lord of the Rings of like games for me. It's one of my favorites, or just the Elder Scrolls series in general is Lord of the Rings to me. I love Morrowind. Morrowind has a way better dialogue system. It's on level with the original Fallout games. Got Stormcloaks and Imperials over here fighting. You can join like their war and faction. It does change certain things, but I wouldn't say it's changes in a different way. I like how immersive the world is still. I love how it interacts, unlike that some of the glitches, like those dinks not knowing how to get out of a wall. But they all have their own technical issues though, even the good games. Oh my god, are you serious? Oh, why is the stamina so bad right now? Like, my stamina has been really weird. Is it because I'm a vampire in daylight? That probably makes sense. Well, let's get the crap out of here. Yeah, my character's a vampire, by the way, so... Oh, I'm stuck. I'm turning into an NPC. But I think there's enough, like, they do enough variety, too. And let's actually take a look at the skill tree here. So, I haven't used any skill points yet. The skills tree is also simplified compared to the originals. I think it's a lot more appealing to look at, as well as it's made a little bit more simple and easy to understand compared to the older games, where the older games, another problem is that they do take out certain abilities from what the originals had. There are some pretty cool things the original had. There's different ways you can level up that I do think is weird. Like, say you want to level up acrobatics in Oblivion, you just kind of hop around. This is silly to me. It's more to do with the physical work that still happens in even this game, but I think to much less a degree compared to the others. Oh, there must be a Spriggan nearby because they're highlighted green. Yeah, there's a Spriggan. Oh my goodness. Kill him. And another thing I love about Elder Scrolls... Don't you come after me. Don't you come after me. Get the crud away from me. When it comes to stuff like Elder Scrolls and Fallout 4, another thing they did to implement is how the enemies level with you, as well as there are new types of enemies the higher level you get. Like, there are some pretty ridiculous Spriggans you can wander into later on, and I can show you those here because I have some mods that can show you some of the special types of enemies if you wanted to. I'll have to use my higher level character though to show some of them off, but I should be fine with this guy for the most part, because he's got plenty of companions to help him out if anything gets too nasty. Yeah, saber cats are ridiculous. What is hell? What are you guys? A bunch of wimps? You're barely killing them. But yeah, there's like different types of enemies that I'm sure some of my friends haven't even seen before. There's like a Draugr Hulkling, which is like a big, tough Draugr, basically. It's basically Hulk Draugr. And there's stuff like bigger Spriggans. There's like Matrix. What is it called? You can actually see the names of them through conjuration. So there's different types of bears. There's different types of like animals and stuff. There are different types of dragons. So I'm going to so here you got revered, serpentine, and legendary, and elder. Those are some of the most powerful. You got blood. They do look different from one another too. There's also different colored dragons. There's also the specific boss dragons, the story and such, and special boss type dragons you can meet. And even like the worst areas that people talk about being terrible, I love, such as Blackreach. I love Blackreach. It's one of the most unique looking areas in the game. It feels like I'm in an underground version of Morrowind. It's really cool. I love the dungeons are really cool in Skyrim and most of the games. I think just because of how games like Oblivion, especially since they reuse the look of dungeons, it gets very samey feeling. I think Oblivion has very weak dungeons. But due to the age and restrictions of the older games, I think they kind of feel a little bit boring and repetitive, but that's not entirely their fault to an extent. You got a bunch of, look at all these different Falmir types. So I found some of the stuff going through here. You got frost giants, that's dope. I was looking through some of this stuff when earlier, and I was like, there's all these different types of animals. And then I checked out where is it? I'm trying to find it. There's different types of spiders as well, which is just awesome. There they are. We got Earth Mother and Matron. These two, like, I gotta show these two. So everyone gather around. We are going to have technically a boss fight. So you can run into one of these either in a dungeon or in the open world when you're higher level. So it is a bigger Spriggan that is basically the equivalent of a boss battle. And you can run into one of these in the open world when you're higher level. I love how the werewolves can ragdoll them around. So you can run into this. You can see, obviously, this is the Earth Mother. It's got a purple glow. And it's very hard to kill.
I'm going to enjoy this.
But yeah, this is it's pretty cool to see these types of, look how tall she is compared to the werewolves even. There we go. Alright, let's check out the other one. Oops, I hit you. There's the other one. You see it's like white birch, like if it was a birch tree that came to life. But it's got like an orange glow on it too. So there's different types of like all these creatures. Oh, it's turning purple now. Interesting. And it can heal itself. What the hell? And like I think these don't give you anything special though. Yeah, they could still give you like taproot. But yeah, you can run into those different versions of creatures. This is a mod that I'm using, but it's a mod of creatures that already exist in the game, that are already in the game. I just can spawn them wherever I want. And when it comes to dragons, I'm gonna have to quick save to show some of these off. But yeah, I still think that there's something about the... Oh yeah, there's a different type of troll that's called Uderfreak. And he is basically a boss version of a troll. So he looks like... His eyes usually glow though, but yeah, you can tell there's some difference with him compared to most trolls. He's not as tough though as others, especially when I have so many, and he just gives you troll fat. But yeah, he's got like different eyes compared to most trolls. There's some blood on his eye. That must be disgusting. But there's some interesting things to the world mostly, and there's just like a grip the world has on you because of how immersive it is, how fun it is to mess around with the gameplay and stuff, to kind of experiment around. There's still some great stuff. Where a lot of the older Elder Scrolls, while I think Oblivion has hilarious combat, there's some hilarious things you can do with the combat, but I think the game looks ugly as hell unless you mod it. And I'm not... Another thing I had with the story is, while the story in some cases is better than Skyrim, I think the fact that Skyrim actually uses not only the title to its truest form, because you barely see an Elder Scroll until you do the Thieves Guild, and it's not really involved that much integrated into the main story. It's all about the gates, which is fine because it is about the Oblivion gates. So they still live up to the title, they just don't live up to the Elder Scroll part of the title until you do a side, like, mission with the... or not really side mission, it is a main, like, side story connecting to the Thieves Guild. But let me get rid of this abilities. Look how mean that doggy looks. Yeah, it's just so... Where's my enemies? Not that. There we go. And I love the redesign of the enemies as well as the weapons. They definitely do a much better job with the redesigns of these. As well as the locations are very memorable. I still love a lot of the locations in both. Like, Fallout 4 still has some really good stuff. All the side characters are memorable. I think all of your companions are memorable, is what I'm saying in Fallout 4. I think there are some great characters in Skyrim. There are still great characters in the other games, but I just remember a lot of the characters. Like, the only characters I remember in Fallout 3 specifically is Liam Neeson's your dad. That's like,
Now,
if I
here's a man
see
I'd like
the
to
actor
see.
rather than the character that he's playing, then that's a problem. Because it just doesn't immerse me as much. Here come the werewolves, they're finally back from whatever the hell they were doing. And yeah, they use a lot of the same actors to do a lot of the roles, but I still love the actors. They're very charming. There's a lot of personality to the world. We gotta go this way to this quest over here. And I'm sorry if I'm Jeff Goldblumming it up by saying all the time. But when it comes to the Elder Scrolls games, they have dumbed down their RPG elements, but I think there's enough there to call it a RPG. Here's where it gets bad, though. So, you got the MMORPG, Elder Scrolls Online, and you got Fallout 76, which, man, like, 76 didn't even have NPCs, so the role-playing elements were just specifically on the combat, and even the combat wasn't very good, especially the VAT system, since it was in real time still. And then like Mass Effect is a way better RPG even now than even the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games now, because not only do you have great dialogue options, you can alter the endings and how characters look at you and feel about you, but you can also, like, there are other things. Oh, there's a spider behind me. What the hell? What the hell? I heard you. Get the crud out of here. Get the crud out of here. Jerk. There's some great animations to these games. You can see how they evolve over time. Like, Skyrim does have a VAT system, kind of, effect, where it's a cinematic camera angle, but it's more with the execution moves of the enemies. And depending on the weapons, as well as how far you level up, you get different executions and animations, which is pretty dope. I do like that stuff. Just going around in circles and running into all sorts. I love the encounters of Elder Scrolls. There are some great encounters. There's a great world building just by looking at environments in the world. It's not as good as, say, Dark Souls, but it does a good enough job. And of course you got like books and stuff that help with the lore. Here we are. Here we're finally at our mission. There's still very interesting DLCs and quests. I think Skyrim, I still think they did a lot of great stuff with Skyrim that makes it addictive. Okay, thank you. Shut up. Stop calling me that. Hello.
Hey there, friend. If you're looking for a fix, you're at the right place. Just
Thank
follow
you.
down the trap door.
Thank you. Alright. Let's go into Redwater Den. So, there's some... I still love the story has a lot of memorable locations. There's still a lot of memorable stuff to the story of Skyrim and such. When it comes to the combat of the original games, it was kind of all over the place and clunky. This game feels more weighty. And there's still a lot of great stuff in both Oblivion and Morrowind, but Morrowind's more like if you attack someone, it's like a roll of the dice type of attack, where sometimes your attacks won't hit, even if they look like they're supposed to connect. You're not supposed to focus on how the animation of how they look like they're trying to connect. It's more of a roll of the dice whether it's going to hit or not. And oh my god, what happened to the texture of your goddamn face?
Bothering me.
Sorry, jeez. I'm just gonna steal your crap here. Yeah, that's another thing. They got rid of the karma system unless somebody sees you do it. Where in like the Fallout games, someone would get mad at you. Though there were things you could exploit in Morrowind, like you could literally kill someone in their house unless they escape and tell the guards, without the guards knowing you did it. Or you could just avoid them altogether. And yeah, there were some problems both with the old and new games comparatively to one another. Oh, well, that looks like the crapper right there.
It's so good to see you again. Need something?
Can you guys, like, get out of my way, please? Thank you. Good, nobody saw me. I do love things like the lockpicking system. Lockpicking is pretty fun. Man, what is with this lock? So it's definitely around here. I have plenty of lockpicks. It's just them spotting me that I hope doesn't happen. Yeah, it's right around here somewhere. And there's like different puzzles and such to each game.
Is someone there?
What the hell? How did you know to... Oh. Never mind. Oh, we had a key on... Oh my goodness.
Is someone there?
Oh, it looks like they hate us. Yeah, I got the key. Guess what? You're dead. Oh, I missed. And you can like charge your attack, of course, or hit light attack. And some of the weapons feel weightier than others. Some are faster. Like if I do wield swords, you can tell it's much faster. But then you would have to use both hands. You can combine them to use a different like animation for an attack. Oh my gosh, they have schema down here. Don't call me skeever butt. You're in my way. Can you guys get out of here, please? Out, 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 out. Especially the dogs. The dogs are the most annoying part.
Ours is to follow, friend.
Yeah, don't follow me too closely, dumbass.
I'm behind you.
This is one of the biggest problems with Elder Scrolls games, is these companions always get in your way. Of course you can push them out of the way, but goddamn, especially like if dogs, especially dogs, like do not want to move for you sometimes. Like they do not want to move for you, which sucks. And you're like, goods. I got like practically infinite inventory space. Get the crap out of the way. Seriously. No, you're not. Let me close the door. I have to be so precise with that. Stop calling me names.
Until next time.
Alright, you guys are just getting... Okay. Move! Man, that is pissing me off. Whoa, what the hell? Why is there a Draugr down here? What the hell? Please don't trap me in here. Okay, good.
Think about it.
Oh, I'll think about it. Man,
Yes.
that looks like a way that I can exit through. I'm wondering
Yes.
if I can. You guys, like, get the frick out of my way. Assholes. And it, like, there's not many, like, memorable companions in, like, New Vegas. I want to come back to that. In New Vegas, the most memorable characters are Rex and Lily, the Nightkin and her cyborg dog. Nightkin and cyborg dog are like the most interesting characters to me. There are others, but like I won't remember their names from the top of my head. Besides that, everybody else is just like, I forgot them. There's a lot more characters I actually remember, and it's probably because I play Skyrim more, even though I've played those games earlier in my lifetime. To that of the... Let me get the vampires stuff as well. To that of the newer games. Like, there's just something about their worlds that just attracts me to them. Their worlds have a lot of energy, personality, and heart. Where something like, and this is what I was gonna get to, something like 76 and especially ESO has none of that charm. It feels lifeless, boring. I'm taking everything so I can sell it all. And just so empty. And even, like, I was going to use ESO in my previous video talking about boring open worlds. I forgot to use it. I was so focused on talking about just the Ubisoft open worlds because I've just gotten so pissed off with those open worlds. But to be honest, ESO has, as well as 76, have really just boring open worlds. 76 comes close to having a open world I've always wanted, because it's multiplayer, but the way they approached multiplayer as well as all the glitches and stuff in the open world itself is just so boring, and I don't care for it. And it's just so bad. Like, there's nothing memorable about it. There's no NPC characters that I care about. It's just a boring world in general.
Time to end this game. Yield, and I may still show mercy.
Where's the guy? There he is. I feel like they do a great job with the rewards and treasures of the later games. They all have great like rewards and treasures. You love the Daedric quests, joining different factions and what the benefits are to them. I think they do it better in the older games. That's gonna be bad if there's because my NPC friends are too dumb to know that that is a trap button. And if they decide to walk on it, then we will have problems. But yeah, they definitely dumbed down the RPG elements. I just don't think that, like, now it's popular, apparently, to hate stuff like Skyrim, and I hate that kind of saying and that kind of thing in general. This is so annoying and dumb. I think Skyrim is still genuinely a good game, because it gets the fun part right, and it still has RPG elements that matter to count. Don't worry, on my... And now she's gonna be taken care of, because she be dead. Hey look, I can sleep in that coffin. Give me your goodies. But yeah, I still think they do a great job. They've just sacrificed a lot of their RPG elements for the more cinematic approach. They still have good elements. They still bring over elements to like Fallout 4 and such. Like I said, they brought up the invincible companions for both Skyrim. Well, actually, no, Skyrim does a great job because Skyrim has invincible characters, but there's also companions that can permanently die too, and you see them in Sovereign Guard later in the game, and that's a really cool moment. I love that you can see past characters dead, and I think Alduin really is a great villain. I still think he's really good. I love how, like, what is it, Irish Gamer or whatever, talks about, I can't remember his name now. I'm sorry if I get his name wrong. Please say what it is in the comments below. But I always got pissed off whenever I saw like his video talking about Skyrim, and he would talk about how, oh, Alduin's a bad boss or best character. I think Alduin's great in the same way that like Sauron is a great villain. Like, you still feel their presence throughout the game, and you still see them a decent amount of times. And you get like the feeling whenever you see a dragon, you think, oh, this is Alduin's doing. And I still, even though the dragons are repetitive, I still have fun fighting them. They are quite a presence, and they're just really cool. Dragons are just really cool looking enemies and such in general. Just cool, like, mythical creatures in general. But yeah, it's like, I love dragons in this game, and I think Alduin has a great presence. I love that he technically, ironically saves you at the beginning of the game. He saves the one that is destined to kill him, and he didn't really realize it until later. And what I was trying to get at is Irish Gamer, whatever the crud his name is, talked about Alduin. Oh, I fell into a trap. Ooh. Ah, jeez. Oh, crap. Jeez. Wow. Oh, jeez, there's a trap on that as well. Try and get it. Okay. Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing, the trap setup. Okay, how do I turn off that trap though? Was that it? Oh, that might be the trap that you dumbass. Why did you go in there? But yeah, your companions can die in this game. I just remembered that. Like, wow. But I think in Fallout 4, most of your companions will survive. Not a single one will die. I wanted to loot that vampire down there, but whatever. But yeah, they took something from Fallout New Vegas where your companions can't die. There are still NPCs that are pretty important that can die in those games, but I think they do a much better job. That guy is... oh my goodness. He dead? Anyways, there's still a lot of important things too. Oh, it's... to like that thing, because I've had companion. I love it when you can actually get the companions killed. I hate it, but I love it because it makes you more emotional about the situation. One of my favorite companions to use that not many people will talk about, even though he's got not much to him, but you can still develop characters quite a bit in the game by doing their quests and such, as well as how they have conversations, or even if you marry them or something, their dialogue is reflective of how their personality is and such. You still get a lot of character out of them, and it's just a very alive world, as well as how they interact towards enemies too, is like extra dialogue stuff they'll have. So there's some great stuff still with the characters, and one of the characters I usually use is Derkeithus. He's one of the hardest to get to because he has a bunch of Falmir protecting him, and it's higher level kind of area, a harder area in general. And I have a lot of fun with it, with him. He's a great character. It's a shame that there's no like Khajiit that can become like marriage partners and stuff, where there are actually quite a few like Argonian characters that can, and it kind of sucks. I wish there was an equal amount for both. I wish they did a little more. But yeah, Skyrim had a lot of content to it that they did a great job with nonetheless. And I think that's another thing they kind of, like, they did the more is less kind of approach, where they did give you great, awesome things, such as building your own house or having your own home, decorating it, and stuff like the more cinematic approach, the companions that fight by your side, even having your own dog and stuff, or dogs. There's still really cool concepts. Holy crap, you went right into a insta-kill animation of mine. Good job. Oh, we found a master vampire. Sweet. And the enemy variety is really good in these games. I think the enemies are great. Animations are pretty great. This game tries to be, I think because it tries to be a little bit more realistic, it does, you can kind of lose the luster of the realism of the game by certain programmed things happening that might take you out of it. But I still think like they have some of the best designs in the latest Elder Scrolls and Fallout games. Because I think the designs of the creatures in Fallout 4, as well as in Skyrim, are like the best they've ever been, and they still haven't really been beaten. They haven't been beaten out by 76 or ESO. ESO is just really got a lifeless world. You kind of realize how big a deal something like Skyrim. I agree that like it's over advertised and there's too many versions of Skyrim, but I still think like on its own, Skyrim's still a great game. It just they need to cut it out. It's the same problem I have with what they're doing to Sam Fisher and for Splinter Cell, where they're not making a new Splinter Cell, and it's kind of building to this point where it's probably going to be overhyped to a ridiculous extent. But I think the games are actually really good. I think you should give them a try. There's a lot of great things about them, but I feel like because of how overly advertised Sam Fisher is, that it might just like Cloud Strife or... Oh, jeez. Who stepped on one of those? Stop it. I think because Dink. Oh! She landed on the button. God damn. Ooh, I saw a button right there. Anyways, because of how they did that over advertise, it can get super like depressing, and just like people will get sick of seeing that character everywhere, and it's just so sad because I think the character needs more respect than that. I kind of see why. It was the same thing because there's a lot of underrated stuff that I wish was more popular out there, but like sometimes I think to myself, ooh, what if they over-advertise it like they did with Cloud Strife and now they're doing with Sam Fisher? They could really ruin like the reputation of how people look at that character. It's just really sucks when that type of stuff happens. Kind of mark, and it's like the big part to that though is it's the entire game instead of a single character they're messing with. I still think that Sam Fisher is a great character. I just wish that they didn't over advertise him, but they know why they're using him so much, because they know there's a big audience. It's just they're not respecting it quite to the to the extent they should be, as well as they are just using it just to get people who love that series to want to buy into that stuff. They're using it as something that they can, there we go, that they can get money off of.
It's really too bad, you know. The
Do
little
you
act
need something?
completely.
Who are you?
Yeah, too bad.
Hello there.
Lord Harkin's new favorite. Dead so soon after joining the family.
We're just lucky I was here to return the chalice to Bengalmo so he could make sure Harkon gets it back.
Wait, what? That's not what we agreed. We take it back together.
Idiot. You didn't really think I'd let you walk out of here either, did you? Bengalmo wants you both dead.
Well, that's just fine. Orthyal told me to finish off anyone who got in the way. Is someone there?
No! Take him out. Shoot him with your lightning bolts. Why aren't you shooting him? Stop doing that same pose. There we go. Oh, jeez. This is like Dragon Ball Z charging it up. Kame. Ha! Okay, he's taking a long time just trying. I think it's because all the NPCs are getting in his way. He doesn't want to hit them. Okay, there we go. Oh my gosh, did he do that to this person? What could happen to this guy? Is that what he did? Jeez. But they've lost a lot of the Bethesda games have lost their luster with the RPG elements, and it's just so sad. It's understandable why people. Here's my dream and I'm specifically talking about this because Elder Scrolls 6, and I'm worried about how that game will turn out. I am glad that they said they're going to use a new engine. It really could use one, and that was the problem with the other games. But I think Elder Scrolls 6, it kind of needs that Mass Effect flair to it, if I'm being honest, where it shouldn't be exactly like Mass Effect, of course, but I think the dialogue system and the way you interact with characters, but still in an Elder Scrolls type of way, should be similar to something like that. Get out of my way. I knew it was going to come back around here. You watch it. You're in my freaking way. Asshole. Yeah, and there are some great mods. I was playing using a mod with a character named Diablo or something. Lucifer? Lucifer is his name. Not the game Diablo. And man, he's so interactive. He talks, he impresses me so much. By the way, Vampire Thrall, we're gonna have to kill you. I'm sorry, we had to do it.
Oh, what happened?
Oh my word, this is terrible.
How did you not realize I killed your friend?
Yes?
By the way. I didn't think they were gonna instantly die, but whatever. Stop calling me that. What a jerk. Call me Melon Nose. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff still to the new Elder Scrolls stuff. It's just ESO and Fallout 76 are garbage. I mean, there's some things better. I actually played the Battle Royale being like, okay, this is gonna be dumb as hell. I hate when they force a Battle Royale and chase trends with 76. The funny part is that the Battle Royale, at least for me, for 76, ran way better than the Battle Royale, way better than the main campaign. The main campaign still has tons, or like the open world part, has tons of like frame rate, glitches and crap still. It's just a mess. The Battle Royale somehow ran better than that. It was bad. And I was playing with a friend too. We noticed how, and I think it's because there's so little like players in the world too. But then again, like, there weren't many people playing that day and it was still pretty glitchy. So it could be just like models of enemies and characters, since they put NPCs in. So you can kind of see why Bethesda didn't put NPCs in, but at the same time the game was still an absolute mess. So it kind of sucked. I figured out too that Dave Control, one of my favorite YouTube channels, has moved to GameSpot. I thought I might as well mention that. So if you want to watch some Dave Control, he's also got his own new channel. This is a weird... I'm not advertising him, I just love the channel and I think you guys should check him out. I love that he's on GameSpot. I think, while I love his new Cyberpunk video, and I agree to an extent, there's a lot more problems with Cyberpunk 2077. It's just too bad there's so many glitches that overshadow the actual problems with like the RPG, because the RPG elements are the same as Fallout 4. There's no reason for, there's no like, none of your choices or different dialogue make a difference in the main game throughout most of the game. It's not until the very ending where there's different endings and you can change things up. But that sucks because you could have had things changing throughout the entirety of the story.
There are so few pleasures in life as fine as yours.
And it's just so sad.
I see you have returned. Well, of course they did. Welcome to the politics of Lord Harkon's court. Vengalmo and Orpheolf both long for our Lord's throne, but cannot make overt moves against him. Each sought to gain power by using his underling to kill you and keep the chalice for himself. By ensuring the chalice reaches our Lord, you have increased his power over them, and at the same time, deprived them of their little rights. You've done Lord Harkon 2 great services. Take what you've learned to heart, and be careful who you trust. Now, I believe that Lord Harkon wishes to speak with you.
Okay.
May your next fight bring you victory, friend.
Now here's a man I'm glad to see.
Let's go speak to Lord Harkon. Yeah, I love these DLC. The DLCs are fantastic for these games. And I've always had a difficult time, I was talking about in my top 10 list,
Yes, I did.
where they brought up how I had a problem choosing between Morrowind and Skyrim. I love both games for different reasons. There's cool things as well, little details, like in Morrowind you can't wear a helmet, depending on the helmet of course. Can't wear a helmet or shoes when you're playing an Argonian or Khajiit because of how their feet kind of bend back, their animal-like feet. And they kind of changed that for later games, as well as the stats to like the armor and weapons and stuff. So there's some great RPG elements going there, and I think it's a much stronger RPG. But I think in terms of like its open, the
prophecy tells of a time in which
just how Skyrim made its combat more solid, a little bit more fun and experimental, as well as how cinematic it feels. I still think the cinematic edge works, but it did sacrifice some things that people were pissed off about. Sorry, I'm talking over you. And I think they do a great job with, like, the actors, their dialogue. Though reading stuff does help you to focus on it a little better. But at the same time, I think they do a great enough job. Oh, my guys are in the way. Let me get them up here, Lord Harkin. Hold on. They'll follow me up here. They'll follow me up here. Come on. Come on. Everyone out of Lord Harkin's way. There we go.
Hi there.
Hi there. Is she wearing the same armor as him? It's just the female version?
Hear my words. The prophesied time is at last upon us. Soon we will claim dominion over the sun itself and forge a new realm of eternal darkness. Now that I have reclaimed one of my elder scrolls, we must find a moth priest to read it. I have spread false rumors about the discovery.
The DLCs really pay like homage to the older Elder Scrolls games too. And I think I love how they approach the vampire stuff in this game compared to ESO, because it's like reversed for some reason in ESO. Oh, hello, what the hell? Why are you standing like directly in front of each other and you have bad like textures on your face? It's probably because I don't have a mod to fix their faces. This guy's face looks fine. It doesn't look messed up. This guy. Who said that? Oh, you said that.
Hi there.
Okay. Hi. What do you want? Alright, we gotta get ourselves a moth priest. Which, if you know those guys, they were shown in, they were in Oblivion during the Thief questline when you were going for the Elder Scroll and that. So let's find ourselves a moth priest. This place highlighted. Oh, it's the one from the book. Okay. Alright, what is our quest again? So ask innkeepers in cities about the moth priest. Ask carriage drivers about the moth priest. Okay. So let's go to... We're going to go to Whiterun, which is one of the most memorable cities. My favorite personal city, though, is Riften. I love Riften. Riften's is such a cool looking little town or city. I love it. Yeah, they just get more. They got a lot of iconic locations. There are some weaker locations, like Morthal's pretty weak and such, and I think Farkarth is kind of samey to like Riverwood and such. But there's still very cool locations too. And they're very memorable in their design and such. You got Riften, you got Whiterun over here, you got Markarth. Oh no, it's Markarth. That's the very one. What's the one I'm thinking of? Morthal. Didn't I say Morthal? Oh no, I said Falkreath as well. Falkreath and Morthal are kind of boring. Dawnstar is fine because they got the new version of Brotherhood of the Dark Brotherhood over here. Their new hideout afterwards. And Dawnstar is still laid out in an interesting way. They also have the museum there. And I mean, the other places are interesting here. Morthal's still got some interesting stuff. It's mostly like a town on top of water, and you can like ride There's little boats in the area. Can't ride the boats, sadly, but I mean, it looks like an area that would be cool for, like, riding around boats through. Solitude's such a cool looking city. I love the look of that. Winterhold, the actual, like, town part of Winterhold is kind of boring, but once you get to the college of Winterhold, it's really cool. I love that. And I still think, like, because of this, how cinematic and how presentable, I also love the rewards still to the Mages Guild and such. I enjoy the Mages Guild more. It doesn't drag, it doesn't get repetitive, and it actually uses magic. I don't like the Mages Guild in Oblivion for the opposite reasons. The Mages Guild drags. You barely use magic in it unless you purposely make a magic build focused character. And I hate that one puzzle you need to use magic for, though. That is one of the worst puzzles in the entire game. It pisses me off. The characters are not memorable. The characters are better in both the Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild. Even the Fighting Guild still has memorable characters compared to the Mages Guild. Like, I would even say the Fighters Guild is better. Like, the Mages Guild drags too much. There's nothing that stands out to me in it. I hate the quests. You really feel the repetitiveness of the dungeons and such, thanks to the Mages Guild specifically. And man, while the reward is cool, I can't deal with how much it drags on and how boring and repetitive it gets. It really shows the terrible repetitive, like, dungeon design of it, and it does not age very well. So I'm not going to say that if you're a fan of the Mages Guild that you should hate it. I'm just going to say personally, those are my problems with the Mages Guild. It drags too much. And even though the reward is cool, I just I don't experiment around enough with it to care, because I just felt like that quest line bored the hell out of me, that I feel like discouraged to want to take up that stuff, because I'm just like, oh, that was so time consuming. I want to get the crap out of here. Where in Skyrim I barely have that, even though stuff does technically take your time away because you're addicted to it, but in, like, a good way. In Oblivion you'll really, like, notice that kind of stuff with the Fighters Guild even too. You're just like, I'm bored, I don't feel like playing this right now, even though I think Oblivion is really fun just because of how dumb the NPCs and the action can be. Like, I love how wonky it looks, the ragdoll physics. I love that you can put, like, oil on the ground and make enemies slip on it. It's hilarious seeing them fall down and crap. That stuff is great, and I wish they did bring that stuff over to Skyrim, but that doesn't mean Skyrim isn't great too. I love when a freaking giant slams you with his hammer and you're, like, rocketing into the sky. I love that stuff. That stuff is still really great, and I love when, like, a dragon picks up a guard or something and tosses his ragdoll ass body across the sky. That kind of stuff is great, and I love it. And I love the characters. Mario is a dragon in this goddamn game. I don't think you could top anything like that. And just the journey of the campaign is still very memorable, and I still think the characters are very memorable in the newer, the latest. I think Fallout 4 and Skyrim do a great job when it comes to the cinematic approach and the some of the elements they borrowed from previous games. But I think if you're looking for the best RPG experience of those, like, they definitely lack that stuff. They've lost a lot in terms of their dialogue system. They simplified stuff like the skill trees and stuff. If you want a true Fallout experience, play Fallout 1 or 2, and New Vegas, sort of. New Vegas has its own problems. Like, the enemies are random and kind of more exploratory. They, like, explore around a little bit more. in Fallout 3, where they have specific spawn points in New Vegas, or places that you're going to see certain types of enemies. You still get that in 3, but 3 is a little bit more unpredictable, and you could argue that New Vegas is unpredictable unless you really know the game well. Then it's going to be predictable. There are some great weapons in New Vegas compared to 3. Like, they definitely put some legendary type of weapons that are fantastic. There are great things, though, about 3 too. There's a lot of memorable cities. Even if they're not that great, it's still cool. You still remember Rivet City. You still love Metaton. You still remember characters like the Antagonizer and Mechadist. There's still great stuff in all of them. And the DLCs, some of the DLCs are bad and some of them are excellent to all the Fallout games practically. And yeah, they do a fantastic job with most of the games. There's stuff like Tactics, which and even some other bad games like Brotherhood of Steel game, like forget that exists, or the Red Guard game or whatever that crap that was called. Not really that great. And there's the original Elder Scrolls games, Arena and Daggerfall. But I think if you want the best, like, Elder Scrolls RPG experience, I would say Morrowind was at its peak, RPG-wise. But I think in terms of, like, the gameplay and the world and such, and you can really see how these evolve. Take, for example, the house building in, Skyrim, and also the maps have evolved over time. Like, they did a great job with the maps. They made things look more visually appealing too, to kind of help you, like, love the detail and look to something. But I still love the paper map look too. I love how you can actually see, like, if there's a dragon on the map somewhere, you can actually see it flying around. I don't think there's a dragon around here that you can see flying around, though. But that kind of stuff is cool. You can kind of see the clouds moving, which is dope. But yeah, there's still great things. I never have a problem with, like, if I walk outside of a map, I never have that problem. Where it's like, it's kind of like Battlefield, where it's like Return to the Battlefield. I never really have that problem, which is a great thing. I do like that. I don't get that problem. Where's the guy that's usually here for the carriage? Oh, there he is. Yeah, I have a mod on that makes things more interesting.
Imperial scholars, right? Old man with a gray
But yeah,
robe.
they still have a lot of good stuff, and they still retain some of their. Somebody pushed me. They still retain their RPG elements, and there are good little details, like the background getting a bit fuzzy.
Now that I think on it, I did see your priest. He tried to hire me for a trip to Dragon Ridge, but I told him that ain't one of my stops. There are certain pleasures in life.
Thank you.
There.
Now, if you're lying, I'm going to have to kill you, by the way. And like how colorful the later games have gotten, and how like unique their worlds are. I still love the Nordic look. Like, my big problem with Oblivion, the other thing I have a problem with Oblivion, other than the Imperial City, with the giant tower that basically looks like Isengard, it feels like generic, like, English medieval fantasy, and I love English mythology, and I love their castles and crap, but this was not a castle set up in, like, locations that I just really appealed to. It didn't help that the NPCs look ugly as hell, and that it just felt very empty at times, and the world just was very generic fantasy. Even the music kind of like reflects that. You know what you're getting into with each Elder Scrolls game just when you hear the music alone. Like, the game lets you know just from the music. Like, you've got the big epic booming music of Skyrim, which lets you know this game's not messing around. It's going to be more action focused, and it's going to be epic kind of narrative, like more cinematic driven, where Oh, and the thing about, like, Alduin. Alduin has 2 boss battles. I love how Irish talks about Alduin. When he talks about Alduin, he only talks about one of the boss battles. But he actually has 2, and I always find that funny, because Alduin does have way more to him than just one boss battle. It's just so weird. Like, how else do you remember the name other than hearing his name? Because I don't think they, like, there still can be times that, and I think that, like, letting you explore the open world, I think, here's another thing, I think that the games do a good job, mostly the Elder Scroll games, of reminding you of the threat and how some of this, even the side content, connects with the main content. So you still feel like everything has an importance towards the main storyline. And I do really like that. Who is this? Hello? Who are you?
I'm on a pilgrimage to the shrine of Azura, in the mountains to the northeast. I'll mark it on your map.
Thank you.
May
Here's
your
a man
next
I'm glad
fight
to
bring
see.
you victory.
Valdris. Okay. Yeah, I still... It's really hard talking about these games and their RPG elements. I think they still do a great job. I still think Skyrim is great. I don't like the it's popular to hate now thing. I think that's dumb. It's really up to you what you think, because another thing to keep in mind is when it comes to, like, take for example Dark Souls. Dark Souls is meant for a specific audience who loves the challenge of it and such, and who loves, like, dark fantasy. They're not trying to approach several, like, fandoms and such. So they do a great job with that. But when it comes to, like, say, Resident Evil 6, even though it sold more than Dark Souls, it did. I watched a video on that. Sold more than Dark Souls, but I think 6 is considered a failure, where Dark Souls is considered a success, even though it didn't sell as much. And, like, Dark Souls has become notorious for a good reason, and how difficult it is, but also it's become, like, a very memorable, iconic game experience to people, too.
I'm hoping to run my own inn someday.
Don't like those eyes you've got. Moth priest? I'm sorry, but I don't know anything about that. Try asking one of the guards.
Okay. Let's find a guard. Isn't the guy that, was based on someone who was a fan of the Elder Scrolls that passed away, sadly? Around here? Might be at a different town. I thought he was around this part, though. There's a guard. Hello.
Ah, so that was a moth priest then. He rode through town.
And I love that there's so much memorable memes and dialogue, or dialogue that's become memes, especially from the guards. Like the, I took an arrow to the knee, and you got the, someone stole your sweet roar. Stuff like that. There's still a lot of great, like, memorable lines and such. But yeah, I think the villains are great in all of them. They all have a great presentation. I think Oblivion is the one I kinda don't care about the villains, or the villain, because most of the game doesn't build the presence up as much, other than the Oblivion gates, which also get repetitive, and you're kind of like, I'm bored now, because I've seen it, the same goddamn Mordor-looking place over and over again. And then it's not clear, like, who the main antagonist is sometimes. You run into the dude near the end that you have a battle with. He's on a little throne and crap. He's got some guards.
Yes.
And you're like, I don't even remember that dude. And he's got he's sticking... Does he have the amulet? I can't remember much, because once again, he wasn't memorable to me. And then, of course, at the very end, finally comes the presence of one of the Daedric guys, or whatever the hell his name was, once again. Don't remember, because that freaking game messed me up. But Sean Bean, who, once again, is a problem when you can see the actor rather than the character, turns into a big fire dragon, fights him in a cinematic, and then dies. Which is fine because of Sean Bean, he dies a lot. But god damn it, the fact that the final battle was a cinematic was kind of disappointing. I like to be able to interact with it. It helps me to be engaged in the moment at all times. And while Skyrim has its moments where it's cinematic in that sense, it still keeps you engaged in the game pretty much at all times in a similar way that stuff like Half-Life 2 and such does. So, yeah. I think that that is a good approach they took, where in Oblivion they still do that kind of stuff, but they do force you to stare at someone's goddamn face and talk to them uncomfortably close to them like that, and kind of force you into this like frozen position where only you and that character are talking and using facial animations and crap. But yeah, I'm not saying that Oblivion's bad. I have problems with Oblivion, and I do think there are RPG elements Oblivion does better than Skyrim, but I do think that you can see good sides to both that make them equally strong in their own ways too. So really, it's just pick your poison, I guess. No, not really. It's more like pick your cure, because they are excellent games. They're still all excellent games for their own reasons. Oblivion, of course, I have to give thanks, because Oblivion was the one RPG on the console at the time that was the only, like, good RPG. Because look at the options we had besides it. We had Two Worlds and Risen, and neither of those games are great. Those games suck. The first Risen's not as bad as the other two, but the other two were really bad. And Two Worlds was just like, ugh, really? This is... If you want more on those, I think Angry Joe and Pro Jared really cover those two series to perfection. I can't do them any more justice, because they are injustice for games. But I do think now, looking back on Oblivion, it's not the best on the console now. Even if you argue like Skyrim isn't either. Like, either way, it's not the best. But I can see why you would still love it. A lot of the corniness of the combat and how you can make people ragdoll around and crap is still really hilarious as hell. I still love that stuff. But I will say that I prefer playing Skyrim any day. And there's still hilarious stuff to Skyrim as well. I'm going to level my stamina because my stamina has been getting stupid. But yeah, I think that's everything I have to add. There's definitely more I could add, but I don't want this video to go on too long. And I am having fun playing this game once again. I always have fun when I come back to Skyrim. I don't want to feel like I'm biased in that sense, but this isn't a review. This isn't meant to diss on those. And I have pointed out some of the problems I've had with the recent stuff. Oh, who are you? What the hell?
If you'll excuse me. Yes? Friends like you, looks like you've already got someone with you. Huh?
Okay, you guys are in my way. Can you get the hell out of my way? Who should I replace? You know what? This Khajiit guy really doesn't help with attacking, sadly.
Khajiit got your back.
So I'm going to part ways with you. Hold on, what do you have to trade?
I will shoulder some of your burden.
Oh, you have nothing. Your name's Kid? I didn't even realize that, actually.
Yes? Huh?
Whoops.
Speak. Lead the way.
That's annoying.
What do you need?
What, do you want your item back? Take it.
Something different about you, I can tell. Hope you ain't here to cause trouble. The meals I serve ain't what I'd call a Jarl's feast, but they'll fill your belly. Huh?
Alright, I want to talk to you.
Still here.
Dragon Queen. Interesting.
What do you want me to carry?
What the hell? Give me your gold. Give me your everything.
Let's get going. I'm right behind you.
Actually, you could use a weapon. Here, take a actual, like, a sword or something from me. Let's see, what's the strongest? We got 23 damage. 24. 28. A lot of stuff, okay. Let's give you the 28. That's my sword. You can take this 28 though. Here.
Lead on.
Alright.
Yes.
Thanks for the armor, by the way. That's dope. I love the look of the armors, by the way. That's another thing I want to bring up. Armor looks dope. And also, I don't want to buy horse armor in Oblivion. Yeah, they did a great job with the redesign of the armors. I do feel like even the armors are kind of dumbed down, though. But whatever. They do a great enough job. Bye, kid.
These ends are cold, but Khajiit feels warmness
Your
from
textures are weird. I'm kind of glad I'm... Wait, unless she has... Wait, what? 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 On what? Oh, we got a dragon. Wait, what type of dragon is that? It's an ice dragon, obviously. Even the battles feel cinematic to an extent. But yeah, that, like, I don't know what to say. I still think like some of the newer stuff is great. It's 76 and ESO that sucks. That really like mess up the formula. And I think you could argue like, oh, ESO is meant to be an MMO, but they could have done it in the style of an Elder Scrolls game. And I hope 6 has some form of co-op. Not many players, but I hope it has some form of like co-op, similar to like Skyrim together, as long as it's not too many people. Because depending on how it plays out, they could really mess it up if they're not careful. Did one of the... She just flew ice back at him. What the hell? Yeah, she's like shooting ice at him. Oh, what the hell?
The gods, it's true, isn't it? A dragon has attacked Whiterun. How could mere men bring down such a beast?
What are your weapons?
Need thee to carry something?
There you go, you have arrows now.
By the gods, I don't even know what to say.
How can I assist?
You need a bow as well. I don't even have a melee weapon. Here, take one of these. This one. Take a bow. Take some arrows. Not taking my danger payload, so. Whoops. There you go. Yeah.
We follow that.
I think you have a...
We need to carry something.
Yeah, you have bow and arrows. Oh, you have a... sword.
Lead, I'll follow.
I don't even know what to say.
What are you still doing here?
You have someone with you already.
Okay. Wish I could give these guys bows and kind of... go.
Let's get going then.
And I think you're the final guy I need to give a bow to. Here, I'm going to give you these bows. And I need to give you some ammo. There you go.
Let's tread softly.
Where's that other guy that uses bolts? Ew. I thought that you were running low on bolts. Oh, you have a lot of bolts. Holy crap. Never mind. Screw you. I wish I could give these guys stuff. Can you tell me where Orc Stronghold is?
Here, I'll mark it down for you.
Can I not talk to you?
If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes.
In all my years, I've never seen such a thing.
Alright. Where'd the dragon go, by the way? Its body just disappeared. Did he fall in the water or something? Where'd he go? What the hell? What the hell? Oh, it's the Dawn Guard. They're coming after me. Okay. What the hell? Yeah, the Dawn Guard are trying to come after me now. They know about me joining the vampires. They're up. Yeah, you can really see how like the games have evolved but also devolved too in their RPG elements, but also evolved in like their cinematic and what they added to the games. I think dialogue-wise, I think Fallout 4 is the worst. It's also the worst in RPG elements. Its skill tree is really boring, and there's just not a whole lot to it. It looks appeasing just because it's animated and crap. There's a lot of color to it, but it's not good compared to... Stop saying yes, shut up. Huh? Ooh? But, I still really like the companions. The companion system to Skyrim is probably my favorite, because there's both a mixture of what Fallout 3 and New Vegas has, invincible characters and non-invincible characters. And if you're really attached to a character and he dies, then you're probably going to get a bit emotional just over that. It just adds a little bit of weight when they give you like killable companions. It feels like almost like a permadeath thing. It's crazy. I mean, you can reload, save, and have them live, but I've had times where I've had companions in stuff like Fallout 3 or Skyrim and such, and they died, and I'd be like so heartbroken about that. So it's great, and I love the Daedric items you can get from each of the games. It's dope. They do a great job, and the quests are very memorable. Like, when are you going to get a quest where a talking dog walks up to you, or you get to turn into a werewolf like these guys right in front of me? Like, that stuff is dope. I love that. Companions Guild is one of my favorite guilds in this game, and I do really love the Dark Brotherhood and the Thief Guild and such. They are great. I still love their missions, their campaign part of the story, and they still somewhat tell you of the looming threat for Alduin. Alduin still somewhat connects and such. Same with the other games. They still connect to their main plots in cool ways, but not always. So keep that in mind. I think that's legitimately, though, everything I have to say, I just feel like these worlds are lively in their own ways. They do things that even games like Cyberpunk 2077 can't do, where the NPCs feel more like they're doing their daily business and such. They feel more believable. There are better, like, random encounters that are done. The world feels more alive. There's more personality to it. And they're just very interesting in the fantasy setup they're meant. And I find Skyrim and Morrowind have the most unique worlds. Their music really speaks. Morrowind has a very fantastical but mysterious alien-like main score, where it's like, man, this gives me a lot of mystery vibes, this sense of mystery. But at the same time, it's so fantastical, and it kind of speaks to the look of the game, where Skyrim's more cinematic and booming, and it's like more action-oriented.
Yes.
But there are great characters in all of them, for different reasons, and some bad characters too. But they all stand out for their own reasons, and it's just sad to see where the Elder Scrolls and Fallout have gone. And I'm hoping that Elder Scrolls 6 is really good and that it does not fail on the RPG elements, but I would still love to see the elements taken over, borrowed from even their other games. As long as they don't mimic too much from 76, or borrow too much from 76, as well as ESO. Definitely don't borrow from those two games. They are the weakest in the series. They have none of the heart or passion that I love about Skyrim and such, and even Morrowind, and their worlds just feel very empty, lifeless, and while these worlds still feel very programmed, they feel alive and engaging still at the same time. Yes. ESO doesn't feel as alive or engaging. The personality is almost lifeless in ESO. It's just really sad. You have to rely on other players for that at this point. But sadly, there are some asshole players that you will run into, some real bullies in ESO and such, so you're not always going to have a good experience. But there are nice people too. I'm not saying there aren't. It's just I've seen a lot of assholes, and especially Riften in Elder Scrolls ESO. So, yeah. I hope they do a good job with 6. If they do not, I will be greatly disappointed, and I'm hoping the good parts of those games translate well over to Starfield, because I have a feeling Starfield is just a sci-fi in space if you mix Fallout with No Man's Sky, basically. So, yeah. Hopefully they do a lot of good. Shut the hell up and stop repeating yourself, jeez. Oh man. They could mess up big time if they're not careful. So, hopefully you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys next time. That's all I have to talk about today. I would love to do a versus video at some point. My next versus that I want to do is, maybe I'll do Elder Scrolls versus Fallout sometime. Do that sometime. See which one wins that battle. But I want to do Silent Hill versus Resident Evil, so keep that in mind. That's going to be my next versus. I hope to do my read-along sometime in the future. I'm sorry I've held it off so many times. I guess another thing I want to say is that I haven't been in the mood for getting to it as well. I've just been, there's been so much going on, I haven't been in the mood to finish Dragons of Deltora. I'm sorry I haven't. I still love the book. I don't know, I want to be front with that. And I'm sorry if I haven't been front with it before. So I hope you guys don't get mad at me for that, and I very much apologize. But I will get to it. I want to hold to my promise, because I don't want to mess that up in particular. Get on my face, stupid werewolf. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time, and you have a nice day. Bye! Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your comments below. And, yeah, that's basically it. Bye!